everyone. Welcome back to the Cat Scrappiness YouTube channel. My name is Marla, and today I am featuring this beautiful slimline card using the Foliage frame slimline die. This is part of the new Cat Scrappiness release. I am also using these new products, the Never Ending Slimline, which has several layers of slimline dies. Fantastic basic set to have in your collection. The diamond wire is going to give you a very nice kind of like fence line look with a wood grain border. And then the star of the show today is that Foliage frame slimline. There's a good look at it. I cut it out using Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I did use the diamond wire slimline with some stencil paper. The products that I used will be listed in the description box below. You can see that I didn't get a full cut out of it, and that is not the fault of the die. That was my cutting plates are a little bit warped, and I didn't want to use another piece of stencil material, so I went with what it cut out, and it worked just fine for me. These are the mixed cherry blossom sprinkles that I'll bring in a little bit later. I'm using my Amazon brushes as well as Distress Oxide in Abandoned Coral, which is the first color that I'm using right here. So I'll start with the Abandoned Coral, and I'm going to blend it all around the edges. I'm leaving space because I want to alternate the colors. So I will lay it down lightly. I'm trying not to be too heavy-handed. The leaves are a little bit delicate just because, you know, they're cut into the frame, so it has the thin stems, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't rip any of those. So I'm just kind of using a brushing up motion so that I don't bend those back. That is the worn lipstick, also Distress Oxide. I am alternating that. And lastly, I'll bring in the picked raspberry. Looks like I'm going to go over and do a little more blending with that Abandoned Coral just because the worn lipstick went on a little bit heavy, and I wanted to make sure that the tones were at least matching. Here is where I add the beautiful picked raspberry, probably one of my favorite colors. As I've said before, that pink is a favorite color of mine, so I wanted to make sure that I included this. I love this color combination. I'm not quite ready to let go of summer yet, and I went back and forth on whether I would do a predictable fall card and decided, no, I'm not going to do a fall card. I'm going to do a bright and cheery card using these beautiful colors. So once I get this down, I am going to bring in a panel that I cut using the Never Ending die. I used the second largest one, so they all come in 1/8-inch increments. This particular one, since it's the second largest, is 2 7/8 by 8 7/8. The Foliage frame is 3 by 8. So this is just slightly smaller, and it will fit nicely behind that frame. I'm taking the same colors, the Abandoned Coral, the worn lipstick, and the picked raspberry, and I'm doing ink blending in the background. And then I will bring in that beautiful diamond wire stencil that I created, and I'm going to use the exact same colors to do just a little bit of light stenciling to add some interest in the background. Now, I will apologize. You'll be able to see the stenciling right here when I start to add it, but in the final photo, it was really hard to photograph, so I apologize that I didn't get a really good picture of it, but it is there. I will use the Abandoned Coral and go over the picked raspberry area, and then I will add a little bit of picked raspberry and a little bit of Abandoned Coral, worn lipstick and picked raspberry, and then I'm coming in with the worn lipstick at the bottom to go over. And you see that it's a little bit more subtle in those darker colors where the abandoned coral is and the picked raspberry, and it's a little bit more prominent where the worn lipstick was. But I think that it's really pretty. Look at how much interest that adds to the project. I will put this in my splatter box and bring in my Gonzai Tombi Starry watercolors. I will take the darkest gold, spritz some water inside the pan. I have this really large brush. It's like a number 12 brush, and I will wet that as well. And now we're just doing a little bit of splattering. I did it on both the background and the foliage piece. And then that won't be enough for me. I will decide that we need just a little bit more sparkle and shine to this. So I will dry it and see how it dries back. And then I will come in with the pearl color on the far left. And I will do the splattering with that. And I'm very happy with the mix of the two colors. I really love metallic splatters. I love splatters of any kind. Are you a splatter person? I just think that it adds so much to projects, and I think it's kind of fun to do. So I do it. Anyway, I am finishing up on the foliage frame, and then I will add some foam tape to the back of that piece. I do that off camera, and I bring in my Versamark pen. So this is my embossing pen. It is the same as the stamp pad, except you're able to use it in smaller areas. I didn't want to cover up all the leaves. I just wanted to randomly put embossing powder. I believe that this is the Wow Platinum, metallic platinum embossing powder that I'm using right here. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to cover up all the leaves. I wanted some of that ink blending to remain in view, but I did want to add a little bit of that gold because I am going to add some more gold with some letters later on in the project. So I'm finishing this up. I put the pen over the spots that I want to emboss. I put the metallic embossing powder over that, bring my heat tool to that, and voila, I have these beautiful leaves. There's a lot of interest and texture with the splattering and the embossing, and look at how pretty that is. This is where I decided that I wanted to bring in those cherry blossom sprinkles. I actually have another pack of just the pink, but I didn't have them close by, and this pack happened to be right on my desk, so I went ahead, picked out the beautiful pink ones from this, and I am adding it to each of those leaf clusters in various spots. I'm varying between the larger blossoms and the smaller blossoms. And I think that that just added a lot to the project. I think that these are absolutely beautiful. And this goes to show you that sprinkles don't just have to be used for shaker cards. I think that there are other uses, especially for these resin and clay ones. I think there's other uses for them besides putting them inside shaker cards. I love a good shaker, but I also love a good flower. And I think that this just was a nice embellishment. These are the word "you" came from a die, a letter die that I have in my stash. I just cut it out of some American Crafts gold paper, and I am gluing it. I'm trying to get it as straight as I can. I'm putting the O in first, and then because that's going to obviously be the middle letter, I'll add the Y. The U is a little bit too high. I didn't get it quite lined up. I couldn't find my T-square ruler, so I did the best that I can, but I don't think that it's off that much that it really is, of any significance. I think that it still looks really nice, but you can see it's just a little bit high, and I couldn't get it to move down. So I'm going to add a few more of the sprinkles over the inside, and then I will adhere that top panel. If you have not went over to the Cat Scrappiness Facebook page, please head over there. There are some contests going on and prizes that can be won. We absolutely would love for you to share your projects with us. We love to see what's inspired you, what products you love. We are so excited about this new release from Cat Scrappiness. There are tons of sprinkles, several Slimline dies. She has a fantastic Slimline collection at a great price point. You are not going to find very many companies that have as many Slimlines as she does at this particular price point. I'm going to glue this panel down to a card base that is also cut to 3 by 8. And then that is pretty much going to finish off my card. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. The final sentiment that I'm gluing on is also from my collection. So it says, thinking of you. I was trying to decide whether I wanted to stick with putting it on the middle of the O, and I thought that was the best place. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have followed the release inspiration that has been presented this weekend. We have some fantastic creators that are sharing some fun projects. I'm going to give you one final look of my card and a really nice close-up, and that will be it for me today. Until next time, I hope that you have a fabulous day.